Okay, let's make this clear. We're not going to bend the spoon, or you can actually utilize what I'm going to explain to bend the spoon. I just don't find I find the spoon purposeful as it is, so I'm just going to use it as an example, and you can then utilize this framework if you want to play with it to bend the spoon. But you can maybe bend. I'm bending a lot of different things. Okay, what I'm bending is, well, basically I'm recreating timelines all the time to those of my liking. So in my movie, then I get interested into something, and then I crystallize that as an preferable experience for me, and many times I'm bending also just like like I'm doing a courtesy where I'm bending something for somebody else, where they would feel less suffering and more joy. And I just change the programming when where I'm allowed, okay, because I can't really fuck with everybody else's free will. But if I go through our omni self, I can bless you, and with that blessing I can paraphrase what things you don't need and what things you need, and then I will see you transformed from like a ill state of being or karmic perpetuation and like some suffering and mental confusion, where you're just like very light. So if you also want to just accept what I've said, you can receive it right now, because it's like every blessing is always present, but we are not sometimes asking to receive it, or we're not open to receive these blessings. So that being said, you can transform reality, and using this as an example, it's silly, so you may use the way you transform reality to do something that's fun for you. Now, if you think spoon bending is fun, you can do that. If you think other types of activities are beneficial, okay, like few of the things we're doing right now, I'm just having like a big exhibition opening, and then I'm aligning projects that are fun for me to do, where I can like travel and like make money and like all this stuff, and they're just showing up. My timeline is just like showing up with this stuff out of like, I'm not googling, I'm not writing emails, out of nowhere people show up, and then I am invited to go somewhere, do something. So that's like really really great. Another thing I want to do is interiors. So actually then I'm also getting real estate, and then things are just showing up like what is it, like the actual real estate and the finances and the interiors and the interior designers and then the production crew. Everything's just showing up, and like I don't even have to. The only work that I need to do is make these choices, like mood board my things and then shoot it out in the universe, and then everybody shows up, and then I'm looking what the next thing is, and then align the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So I have several journeys, and I'm not even going to mention all of that. But the basic thing about spoon bending is to realize there is no spoon. What does this mean? You tell me. There is no spoon. It means that the level from where you are actually transforming, alchemizing reality is the level where everything is relative, because there is only consciousness that is then later crystallized into appearances, and these appearances take form, and now we see them and we call them reality, and we say something is possible, something is impossible, but these are only our mindsets and beliefs, because what might be possible to you may never have ever crossed my mind. And what might be possible and like very casual for me may never ever even cross your mind. Okay? And then we may agree on some things because we both heard or experienced those things. So this is how reality is very, very, very actually colorful, and it can take infinite shapes and forms. But the key about reality that it itself is relative, it is transformable. So everything in existence that has form is transformable. Okay? So what is not transformable? It's just the pure being, the self that has no shape and form, in the awareness of which all things appear. And the self is the agency out of which all things appear. Okay, so things appear like a cake. They have many layers. They have the crust, they have the chocolate, they have banana, strawberry layer, then they have the topping, then they have the sprinkles. And this is how reality is. It's very layered, and every band with every layer influences another layer. So you need to have some coherence if you're trying to manipulate reality, right? So if you are trying to manipulate physical reality, but you're going against the laws of physics, and you're physically influencing reality, you're not going to be able to, I don't know, walk through a wall, but you will need to break down the wall with a big ass hammer or something like this, right? Or you will need to install a door. Okay. But if you are I don't know, on astral level, then you can walk through a wall, you can fly, you can like do whatever, right? So but then if you're on a zero level, on a baseline level, then you can create change to the cake, coherent through all the levels, and it's effortless. You don't even have to know the crust, know the fill, know the topping, know the chocolate, know the straw. You don't have to know it. Working from the baseline level, from the level of emptiness, everything, this is where you are the Almighty. This is where everything follows your will, and the layers, the cake figures it out. Like you say, the universe figures it out. You don't have to really even understand manifestation, like, you know, because they're kids, they manifest what you would call miracles. They don't even know anything about like where they are or how it works. They just have pure will. They're still connected and unconditioned. They're still connected to the essence of their innermost being, which is the 0-point self, which is pure self, which is no form. And then the will emanates with the kid saying like, I want this, and then reality shifts. So we are actually everybody recreating reality all the time with every single thought, reflection, and desire, and app review. You know how many stars you give to an app. Actually, through quantum entanglement, tells the cake or the universe what apps to make. Right. So leave reviews and like say your opinion about everything that you enjoy and everything that you want to disregard because it's not particularly entertaining. But then if you see room for improvement, you can say this to the cake, and the cake listens. Okay, because in the formless, where is like singularity, there is only one omni self, not yet emanated into all this detail. This self is you being the Almighty, but you don't have preferences. You're just like everything or nothing. This is the only thing that you can do because you're so abstract on the primordial level. So when you grow yourself a head and legs and thinking patterns and words, and you can sequence these phrases of words that you memorize in your subconscious, now you can, mood board details and create all kind of like different arrangements of objects and influence them in whatever way you find possible. Okay, so two things are kind of like important to underline here. First of all, there's no impossible. There is you as the Almighty, and you're infinitely potent. And then there's you zoomed in, the same you is zoomed in into your first person, my first person, and every other single first person immersion, where you are putting filters on this infinite potential. So whatever the filters you assume, this is where you decide what's possible. Otherwise everything is possible, but you have to narrow it down. And then you come to your mindset, your beliefs, and your expectations, and your already memorized phrasing in your subconscious mind, where you simply tend to create these repetitions of sequences and then loops that becomes your habits, and then your reality then becomes a little bit more habitually recognized as something solid or 3D. Actually, it's not solid at all. And if you would drastically change your sequencing in your subconscious mind, then what seems solid would desolidify and rearrange in a different type of arrangement. Now you can also tap into this type of working. Maybe you like to be more grounded, maybe you like to be more ephemeral. It does not matter. Now, to bend a spoon, as I've said, this is not even ephemeral level, this is complete relativity level. This is complete Schrodinger's cat. This is complete quantum level or subquantum level, because from there, however you change your mind, reality changes. And it's just quantum surfing different movies, and there's no solidity to the movie. Okay, because if you change your mind today, people that used to say one thing will tell a different story. If you write a story, everybody else is going to tell your story. Because either you're writing from this level on a physical level. If you want to have people tell your story, you need to tell them your story in a way that rhymes, and then they will memorize it because it rhymes, and then they're going to repeat it. Okay? From a subquantum level, you imagine people speaking these rhymes. You don't speak a word, you don't do any physical action. You just wake up the next day and everybody's singing that song that you just made up. You know that this song didn't exist on Billboard charts before, that you just wrote it, but you didn't record it, you didn't publish it, you didn't program everybody. You just send it into, from the Almighty, from the omniscient one self, you send it into the cake, and then from the cake, everybody who's in the cake, they downloaded the song, and now they sing your song. So the way that you influence reality is different when you're working from the crust or from the strawberry fill or whatever chocolate layer of the cake, or you're working from outside the cake, outside space and time, outside the cosmos, which is also right here and now, always. So there is no spoon means also there is no cake, or all the cake is relative. So if you reimagine that the universe is not made from strawberry, banana, chocolate, but it's different, then you can even change that. Which brings us to the most relevant thing today. Before you bend the spoon, know thyself as the pure being outside of space and time, outside of form, outside of universal construct, and that you are governing the blueprint of the cake, which then governs whatever is happening in these timelines. And whether the spoon is bending or not is then effortless, because you're governing the blueprint of the cake, and then the cake is very easy, like the cake is producing spoons and it's producing trees, and then whatever you want to do, you can do from this level. Even without understanding. I'm kind of like going into understanding a lot of details of the cake, the architecture of reality. As I said, you can be just like 5-year-old, just like, hey God, like, or me when I'm zoom out, like, hey, okay, apply this change to my reality, and pew, it works. You know, when you're pure-hearted, it works. But I'm a little bit scientific because the way of this age is making me, work my brain. So it's not just like, hey, let's fly. It's like, oh, let's first understand how we limited ourselves into this paradigm where we now like have gravity and we're using cars that have wheels, and then how to rephrase that placeholder into one where cars are flying and people levitate or whatever, and then educate ourselves how to change our preset, and then blah blah blah, and then everybody's bending spoons. So it's like analysis for fun. And from this analysis, I can tell you that before spoon bending, you can bend your feeling of something being impossible, unattainable, or let's say few things. Do you know yourself in the zoom out perspective to be the almighty creator of this universe and the multiverse and the infinite? And so because you can't know that, like if I say I'm the almighty God, right? That's like mental gibberish. It does not make, these words are just like so stupid. But then there's a link to that zoomed out perspective. When you say that, if you feel that link, you're just gonna giggle or maybe cry. Or so sometimes people cry when we go into meditation and they experience that, right? So you need to feel that, right? So you need to elevate, or you need a link to go outside of the construct of the cake and feel, oh shit, it's like a cosmic law. So that's one thing. So then you can change the feeling that is programmed into your body, bend that before bend the spoon, bend the feeling to effortlessly know yourself. And then effortlessly bend the feeling in your body to effortlessly know that you can effortlessly bend. And that you effortlessly feel that you can effortlessly bend. And that you can do it with a pure heart like your 5-year-old, and then everything will bend into your favor. And that this feels effortless. So first bend this, because you probably went to school and they told you have to do it in a linear way, you have to get a job, you can't. So if your parents or your teachers or people in school, like literally when I went to school, they were like, teacher, can I go to toilet? And they were like, you can't. Some of them were like motherfuckers, they were like, you can't. And so when people condition you like this and they tell you can't, it's like a lot of cursed energy or reversed energy of your feeling that you are almighty, meaning all powerful or omnipotent. Yes? So that feeling gets extinguished. Is that a word? Not distinguished, but extinguished, like when you extinguish a fire or something. So anyway, your omnipotence gets into this arrested development mode, because they didn't raise you to be God. They raised you to be arrested. Literally. And this is why the police can arrest you, because you don't know your rights. You have been pre-programmed to be arrested, and then somebody may come and they may arrest you, but there's no law. There's no law in the cake, in the universe, that somebody can arrest you. But if you accept to be arrested, then you are arrested because you're the omnipotent almighty creator. So if I say, well, okay, allow me to arrest you, and you say, okay, I'm arrested, then you're choosing that. But you're pre-programmed to choose that, and then so it's fine. You can't be arrested if you know yourself. Then you know it's a choice, and you can bend your feeling that you can be arrested into the feeling that you cannot be arrested unless you participate in your arrest, and then you don't have to be ever arrested. And I'm not saying do harm to others, because they are you. So naturally you don't want to do harm to yourself. So you may choose to be benevolent, right? But then if you're arrested for whatever you're doing in your privacy that somebody else considered to be illegal or a crime, and then they come and they want to arrest you because, I don't know, it's like it's not allowed to have like this pen. And then we're going to burn you alive. We're going to burn you on a stake. We're going to arrest you. We're going to put you in prison. So you were informed that you are arrestable, and that became your program. So you can bend that. And you can bend all your other misbelief and disbelief. And you can first shift all of these into, hey, it's possible. Whatever is like impossible is my creative imagination that effortlessly becomes my reality. So that needs to be the feeling in you. Now you can go bend the spoon, or you can bend yourself. You know, I have to tell you, I'm bending myself out of arrest. It was so funny because this like sovereignty and this like awakening on this planet and whatnot. I was like also like I was just born. I was incarnated into a school and like into this arrested development modes of like you can't do this, you know. So you know you have to always be punished if you don't behave according to somebody else's standard. So who's making the standard? I don't know. Somebody is writing the curriculum and then they're arresting you if you do not follow their curriculum. So that's not fair because you're free. You're free. You are fucking. You are the awareness that's penetrating the space. That you're becoming this cosmos, and then you're becoming a character in your own movie. So you're free to do whatever you want, right? And then somebody else writing your curriculum because you still haven't figured out that you came from nothing and that you are nothing, and that everything is relative, and that you need to take authorship over your choosing and what you want to make believe into reality. Okay. So when I was then post spiritual awakening stuff, it's like always like police come and they're arresting they're arresting people around me for alleged crimes against the curriculum, which may be like traffic crimes or drug related or whatever. And in all of these situations, I'm just like, and nobody looks at me. And then sometimes I'm like, I'm just gonna go and get arrested with everybody else. And I come to the police and I say, hey, can I get arrested with my friends? And we all go and we all get deported from a country. Or then I go to a police station and say, I changed my mind, I don't want to be arrested. And then they just release me. Or they pull me over and then I start having a conversation and I see that they want to imply arrest. And I'm like, I'm just going to discontinue this timeline and not get arrested in my theater. You know, in my life is my now theater that I'm directing. So, the co-players or co-actors or extras or whoever they may be, you know, they're just giving you cues to where do you want to play this. So if you don't want to play, you don't play. So you're immune, and you're immune to like viruses that they're advertising in the. They used to be. They're not. You know, in my reality, I don't even see that, but it was like a thing. But literally, that thing gets advertised, And I live in a world where there was no, like, I filter out that thing, and I just live in a world on a different planet where everything is cool. But then I was traveling with an airplane. I came to Europe, and I came to this airport. It was Athens, and I saw like 1 million people in Athens wearing masks on the airport, like everybody. I'm like, what? Okay, so everybody got arrested into this program that's like somebody wrote the curriculum. Like, I didn't write the curriculum. If you're watching my channel, I'm not writing your disempowerment curriculum. I'm writing your empowerment curriculum. That's the curriculum that I'm writing. I want to see you shine, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to see you all arrested. I want to see you shine because it's more fun. Actually, like, people are more fun when they shine. And this is oh my god, this is like so cute. People are more fun when they're more playful. So yeah, and sometimes when people are like really arrested, then you want to avoid, because like even these people, because whatever they're saying, now you need to change their program, and sometimes they don't want to change it because they really like to use the arrested program they already have because they're used to it. So, and they don't want to change. So I'm like, I can't bless you if you are not allowing on soul level, ego level, whichever level, blessing level, God level, divine level. I can't bless you if you want to be perpetuating the arrest. So, honest advice, drop the arrest. Bend your feeling into the feeling that it's effortless, that almightiness is effortless, and then be chill, right? And then this is the kingdom of heaven within, right? Bend into that first, and then from that, everything else is just like cosmetics. You know, you want to have a, what do we call it, like a lavender Lamborghini, or this marker, or this cigarette, or beer that's made of like quantum stardust, new type of lager, something like whatever you want to have. Really, it's so easy. It's so easy. It's so freaking easy. And then you can bend the spoon, or bend your expectation of reality, and bend your invocation of reality, or bend your visualization of reality into a different reality, and reality shifts, and it's effortless because you're the Almighty, so you have no effort to apply. Everything is already built into the cake, and it just shifts and shifts and shifts as you want it to. Okay, so I'm just gonna sit here and chill, and we're gonna let the video roll. Maybe there's gonna be a cookie if you stick. Yeah, I have one. The linguistic mind, intellect, yes, it's kind of conditioned to have causality. So A leads to B and B leads to C, and so when you learn about reality, you're using these sequences. And these are good, these are not bad, because they help us organize and have some order and understanding, right? But then on the absolute level, there's no cause and effect. Nothing comes first and then second and then last. So from this level of pure being, or level of magic,